Hello, this is Pastor Ben. It is Friday, March the 12th, and today we have another installment in our Strange Things Christians Do series. Before we get too much further, it's worth talking about today's topic, which is the authority of the Bible, because so much of the rest of what we do as Christians, which is strange, and actually a little bit of what we've talked about already, comes out of this fact. And if you don't understand this fact, there's a lot you won't understand about the Christian faith. So, this is my Bible that I got in grade 3. You can tell it's all kind of beat up because I didn't really take good care of my books. I wrote my name on the side, but this is the Bible that I use for daily reading. The Bible, my Bible, like most Bibles, contains a collection of writings from two major groups that are focused on God's work throughout history. The first major group is what we call the Old Testament, and it deals with God's relationship with the people of Israel from the time of creation through until the call of Abraham and the founding of the nation of Israel, and then through their journey with God as they move to a new land and experience the turmoil that goes along with that. That is the briefest summary of it, but there are just a ton of great stories and writings and wisdom included in the Older Testament, and it really represents a thorough chronicle of God's life with his people through that time. The second set of writings in the Bible is a set of writings centered around the appearance and ministry and work of the person Jesus. And these writings include stories about Jesus' life on earth and his death and the accounts of his resurrection. It includes some stories about his early followers, the early church. And then the back half has a large collection of writings between early Christians dealing with different challenges or issues that they were facing, and then ends with the book of Revelation, which is a sort of apocalyptic text that talks about the reality of the world that we live in and some things that we have to look forward to. Nearly every group of Christians, Catholics, Orthodox, Protestants, holds to some kind of recognition that the writings in the Bible have a special kind of authority that other kinds of writings don't. They are treated differently in different traditions. In the Protestant tradition, and especially in the Reformed tradition, which our church, Holland Marsh Christian Reformed Church, is a part of, we hold to a very high view of the authority of the Bible. But almost everybody recognizes it as important in some way. And this is very weird in our modern secular North American world that we live in. It's much more common for people when they are talking about the authority of something to appeal to data, facts, stories of experience, and that sort of thing. And so we have a way of deciding on authority in the general public sphere that is based on a lot on science and on thinking and on lived experience. It is much less common to identify something outside of you that you submit to or that has authority for your life. But that's what we as Christians do. We say, well, this book, these writings, have a special kind of authority that other things don't. And this is strange, but it's very helpful and comforting and important as a part of the Christian faith. The thing that I find important about this and comforting is that it gives us kind of an anchor as we walk with God and with each other. If we were sort of making up our walk with God as we go, as Reformed Christians, we profess that we are impacted by sin, that we're not able to relate to God or do what God asks us to as we ought to be able to. And so the Bible, these writings, provide us with a kind of authority that we can all gather around, that we can all agree on. There's still a lot to discuss in the Bible. We have a lot of work that we do around trying to interpret it, trying to understand it, and trying to figure out how to apply it to our lives. That's a lot of what we do in sermons and Bible studies, and that's what biblical scholars work on, trying to understand what the text of the Bible was meaning to say. But even amidst all of those things, just having one collection of writings that we use gives us a common set of stories, gives us a common set of things that we can share with one another and talk about and center around. And that's a beautiful and helpful thing that grounds us in a way that we are often not able to be grounded in the rest of our world. Just like, as an example of this kind of thing, it used to be that when you watch TV, everybody saw the same commercials because you're all watching the same mass broadcast network. And now that a lot of media is done through the internet, a lot of advertising is personalized to you. So the ads that you see are different from the ads that other people see. And so because of that, we've lost a little bit of a sense of the common story that we have, where before you might make fun of a commercial that you had seen a million times because everyone else had seen it. But now if you've seen a commercial, a million times, it's not necessarily a sign that anyone else has seen it, and we get kind of fractured. And the beautiful thing about holding the Bible as an authority is that it gives us something common to work with and share with one another, and that all of these other things that we might think about differently, we at least have this set of writings and stories and teachings that we can discuss together and share together and hold in common. And so that is a strange thing in our world, but for Christians, it is a beautiful and comforting thing to have this kind of anchor or bedrock from which we build our life from. So that is the authority of the Bible, another strange things that Christians do.